Hi everyone, and welcome to today's card creation brought to you by the Craftie Cafe Online Store. Now we're using some Lawn Fawn Perfectly Plaid Christmas collection and the rainbow cardstock, the little Inca design filled Christmas tree and die, some Lawn Fawn embossing powders in rose gold and gold, just oh my, and some Versamarker ink of choice for today. Now this is going to be a Z-fold card, so I don't know if you've seen it before. It's a very simple design. I've used some extra thick white cardstock, and the reason why I've chose an extra thick white cardstock is because it's an interactive card, so it means more hands, more play time, so I just needed to be that little bit more durable for today's card creation in this particular card. So I have used a bone folder to help reinforce the actual folds of this card, and just making sure I haven't made any unnecessary creases there. Okay, you can see this is the base of the card front. It's very easy. Anyone can do this. Now, using this Perfectly Plaid paper pack, I've done an insert for the panel and also the top panel as well. Now, I've used the Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle, and I've die cut the red cardstock and made sure I've use that, and then I'll also die cut a white panel, which you'll see later on. Now, adhering these down with some tape runner and on the inside and the top panel, I then quickly decide that I just don't like the red on its own, and I'm going to mount it on a white panel that's a 1/8 of an inch right around. So you can see it just added that finished look to that panel. So I really loved how that one turned out and the decision I made for that. Now, also some Couture Creation 3D foam squares. I placed the first two foam squares approximately where I think the panel's going to be. You don't want to stick it on the other side there on the right, because then it adhere down definitely on both sides on the inside. So just adhere down on the left hand side, and you can start to see this Z-fold come to life. Now, again with the Lawn Fawn stitched and then adhering, I'm going to adhere that down with some tape runner. So what I decide to do is, because I don't want it to peek through, I've used the same size of the Lawn Fawn die. Then adhering it down with some tape runner again. Now you can see me here, I'm very cautious on where I place this. So I use the top panel, that's why I adhered that down first as a guide, and then I just place it down, but before I press it down I make sure it's straight and it is centered properly in the card, and you can't see it until you open the card. There you go, very nice tip to do. Now, bringing in that stamp set from Little Inca, it's a beautiful stamp set as well. Now for the what I decide to emboss on is a coloured cardstock. And this paper pack coordinates really well, and I'd end up using the really dark teal type colour to go with the plaid. Now this stamp set, again, I am in awe, and I love how fabulous and diverse this stamp set is, because you can do small Christmas trees using the top part, and large Christmas trees using the whole part of the stamp, and then stamping the sentiment inside. So very versatile set to have in your stash for Christmas. I've thoroughly enjoyed using this stamp set. Now, using the gold embossing powder, I have cracked it open for the first time just for this video. So I was really excited to use this embossing powder. Now this embossing powder, I have to say, I was very impressed how super fine this powder is and how well it picked up the detail of this stamp set, which it is quite a detailed stamp set. So I was really testing it out for the first time today, seeing how well it stood up. I used some really nice super fine embossing powders with other companies such as Wow, so I was really impressed with this and how detailed it was as well. So now just using my heat gun and making sure that's really heated first. Now, a tip for your heat gun, make sure you turn it on first before placing it on the cardstock, or facing it towards the cardstock, and heat it up first well and truly, so then as you melt the powder, it just glides over and melts really quickly. Now, using the rose gold embossing powder now, it has a really strong pink undertone, but held in the light it has a beautiful gold shimmer, so it's a really, really good combination. I really thought how pretty this actual embossing powder was to use. Now, making sure that I also stamp the stump. Nearly forgot it, but I didn't. And then die cutting it, you can see the die cut there on the top left, and I use some washi tape to adhere that down before I run it through the Big Shot. I just find I don't get more movement. I've got the magnetic platform on my Big Shot and all that, but as more use I have of my plates, the more, you know, the plates can warp it. They are warped, and they could just change the actual die cutting process a little bit, but as I said, I'm just cautious, so I just use some reinforcement. Now, using the Couture Creations 3D foam squares again, and making sure that's adhered down really, really well. Couture Creations is a really strong adhesive of choice, especially for an interactive card. Now, you can see here, just by inking up the top half, you get the baby version of this Christmas tree, which I think is adorable. So I've got the stump here. The stumps comes in 2 sizes because of the 2 size Christmas trees, and I'm going to emboss this all in rose gold. I'm just stuck to the one color, and I was really, really happy with the result again with the rose gold embossing powder. So again, adhering it down with some washi tape with reinforcing, especially the more delicate the die is, the more cautious I am. So just putting this down now on the bottom left, so you don't see it peeking out in the card, and then it's a little nice surprise element as you open the card. So adhering it down on the bottom left with some snail or some tape runner. And there you go. It's a very simple design, yet it's so much fun to do and make. So I would love to see your versions. I'd love to see you comment on the blog and the YouTube. The product list is in the YouTube and my blog as well. So thanks for watching. See you later.